let's do another little mini drill to practice working with Pythagorean theorem. So let's take a look at this first one. X, 15, and 17. Should we plug in what are we going to put into the C position? If we're going to do a squared plus b squared is c squared, is the x, the 15, or the 17? Which one goes in for C? Good, good. So we'll say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We'll put the 17 in for the c and the x and the 15 for the other two numbers. Then we'll say x squared plus 15 squared is 17 squared. So we'll use our calculators to find out what 15 squared is and what 17 squared is. Now we know 17 squared is 289. We were just practicing with that. What's 15 squared, my friends? If you have a calculator handy, you can use it. Good, 225, yes. And I just thought I would introduce you to Pinky because he just came in. Say hi to everybody, Pinkerton. Here he is. Yes, he's a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Okay. I think he's hungry. He's like, don't cuddle me. I just want disgusting mush in my bowl. Okay, so we have x squared plus 225 is 289. No, he is a very good boy. X squared plus 225 is 289. So what would x squared equal, my friends? Oh, he's your emotional support buddy, right? Your math buddy. Right, LT? So so if we subtract 225 on both sides, that would be doing algebra, right? We're going to subtract 225 on both sides to get x squared by itself. We get x squared is 64. Then we think, hey, what number times itself is 64? Or what is the square root of 64? And a bunch of you are saying, I know, right? I know the number that times itself is 64, but if you didn't, you could ask your calculator, hey, calculator, what's the square root of 64? And your calculator will tell you that it is 8. Really good work, you guys. Really good work. Let's do one more. Now, what I'm going to do is, for just a moment, I'm turning off chat. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a few moments to see if you can work this one out. Just give it a try. See if you can do it. I will be right here. I'm just going to be quiet for like 30 seconds, okay? Give it a try. All right. I'm going to turn back on the chat. All right. So let's run through it together. I think it is, Alexandros. So, yes. So, um, so we get a squared plus b squared is c squared. In this case, the x goes in for the c, right? We're going to say 9 squared plus 12 squared is x squared. Then we say 9 squared is 81 and 12 squared is 144. We add the 81 and the 144 and we get 225. Then we say, hey, what's the square root of 225? And we'll say that x is 15. So notice that x is 15. It's not any other number. It just is 15. The answer is 15, right? So x squared is 225, but x itself is 15, right? Um, so how are you guys feeling? Is this kind of clicking? Are you feeling okay about it? How you guys doing? It's making some sense? It's a pretty cool formula, right? If you just follow the rules, if you know which one's the hypotenuse, you can do it. Oh, that's good to hear. Good, good. All right. Let's do one more. Again, I'm just going to turn off chat for just like 30, 45 seconds. I'm going to let you guys try this, and we'll check in just a moment. All right. Now, we are going to say we'll start with our a squared plus b squared is c squared, and then our hypotenuse is our 13, right? So we're going to put 13 in for the c, and then the x and the 12 go into the other two spots in whatever order, doesn't even really matter. And then we're going to square these numbers. 12 squared is 144, and 13 squared is 169. Again, that little 2 that's up high, that means multiply the number times itself, right? Yes, a lot of you are getting it. I see. So then we get x squared plus 144 is 169. We'll subtract 144 on both sides to get the x squared by itself. And we see x squared is 25. Then we think, hey, what number times itself is 25? And that number is 5. So our final answer is 5. X is 5. All right. How you guys feeling? Feeling good? Woo! I want to get like a soundboard so I could play like applause noises. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. Now, let's try our first in format question of the day. I think you can do it. It's going to be a little tiny bit trickier than the ones we've been doing, but I think you can do it. So this is the GED answer poll. Um, Now, while the poll is open, please do not spoiler the answer in chat. I'm going to hop off cam and mic to give you guys a minute or so to work on this one. Do your best. We'll check in soon. All right. Fantastic work in the poll, you guys. Let's talk this one through. So, um, now the question is asking us for the diagonal brace. So the diagonal brace must be this one here, right? So even though the problem doesn't explicitly say, hey, what's the hypotenuse of this right triangle? In essence, that is what it's saying. So we have one side that's 5 and another side that's 11, and we need the c side. So we're going to say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 5 squared plus 11 squared is c squared. 121 plus 25 is c squared. 146 equals c squared. Then you have to ask your calculator, hey, calculator, buddy, what is the square root of 146? And your calculator will say it's 12.08, blah, 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 blah. And then we choose the answer that comes closest to that. Now notice it's 12.08, right? So if something costs $12.08, the thing that's closest to that would be $12.10, right? So if you imagine that there's an extra zero at the end, right? There's a big difference between saying $12.08 versus $12.80, right? So the answer that comes closest is choice D. All right, my friends? So if you either got this one right or feel like you learned something from the process, give me a smiley or a thumbs up. If you feel confused and you want to hear it one more time, so somebody said, please explain it again, maybe you can reach out in Q&A, okay? So send a message into Sasha, say, hey, I'm still a bit confused on number 3. And hopefully Sasha can take you through one more time. But basically, they're just asking you for the length of the line that I colored in bright green there. And we used Pythagorean Theorem, which is what we've been practicing for the past little bit, okay? So if you need a little help, reach out in Q&A to Sasha, okay? I hope that is helpful. Q&A is a separate thing than the chat. So it's a separate window. All right. So look for it in your more and it will say Q and A. Okay. All right. So, oh, there we go. Lost my chat. There we go. Okay. Here is another right triangle problem. So you can again practice Pythagorean theorem. They don't give you a drawing. So I would recommend that you try on your scrap paper to draw a quick right triangle and label the information they've given you, and then use that to help you plug the information into Pythagorean theorem. You can use a calculator to help you finish it. Oh, wait, hold on. The poll won't help us here because this is a type in the answer yourself. So I'm just going to turn off chat for just like a minute, and then you can type the answer in, but you won't be able to send it yet. And then when I turn chat back on, you can send it. All right. So I'm just going to be quiet for like a minute and let you guys think, and we'll check in soon. All right. Let me turn chat back on. All right. Go ahead and tell me if you have an answer. We have some answers that are repeating. It's a good thing. Let's see. So, if we kind of drew a picture here, we could label one side like A, like B, and the hypotenuse C. Like A is X meters. We don't know what it is. Like B is 3 meters. We do know it's 3 meters. And we'll call our hypotenuse C, and it is 6 meters. That is just the information they gave us, right? That one side is 3 meters and the hypotenuse is 6 meters. So we can plug that into our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know that we'll just call ax now so that we can find it. That's when we don't know what it is. B is 3 because they told us one side is 3. And then C is 6 because we know the hypotenuse is 6. Now we're just going to do algebra. And if you're a little rusty at algebra, maybe you just need to go back to the algebra lesson. It's okay. We'll cycle back around to it sooner or later. So using the rules of algebra, we would do 3 squared is 9 and 6 squared is 36. Then to solve for x, we subtract 9 on both sides. Whatever's happening to the x, we do the opposite of it. So the x squared is having 9 added to it, so we'll subtract 9 because subtracting is the opposite of adding. We'll subtract 9 on both sides, and we get x squared is 27. That's not a number that we can easily find the square root of, so we'll have to ask a calculator for help. If we take the square root of 27, we will find that it is 5.19 blah, 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 blah. Now we have to round to the nearest tenth. The tenth is the digit right after the decimal point, and since it goes 5.19, we would round up to 5.2. So as a lot of you are saying, it is 5.2. Now, I saw some of you had like 5.19 and stuff like that. And so you would say it's 5.2, right? But I think you guys got it. I'm seeing a lot of good answers here. Um, so notice though on test day, if you had typed in 5.19, they would have marked that incorrect, which I think is unfair. Like I would be mad on your behalf if that happened to you, and I just don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you pay attention. If they say to the nearest tenth, that is what they mean, and make sure you follow instructions. If you had typed in 5.1, 5.19, something like that, it would have been wrong. You have to type in 5.2, okay? So, but if you got 5.19, it shows that you're learning the skills that we're practicing today, so good work.